I am practicing my driving technique every day until I'm faster than Max Verstappen. How long will that take? Stick around and find out. So we're at day 11, and after going back at iRacing after a 2-day break, I started by increasing my brake bias to the 49.1 that was the default brake bias. The reason why I did this is because I was feeling that maybe I was overdoing it with lowering my brake bias to the 46 that it was previously, and maybe I was in over my head and I needed to go increase it again because maybe I was overheating my rear tires without me realizing that much. So initially I have to say that 49.1 brake bias actually felt really good, and I even lowered my theoretical lap time because of it. It felt like I was at the right direction at the time, which got me thinking maybe I even needed to increase my brake bias again so I take off the stress for the rear tires and have better overall grip in the car. Unfortunately, on day 12, all the way to day 19, I was not able to lower my lap time at all. I was constantly trying. I was increasing my brake bias mostly because I thought that lowering it would be worse, and I could barely get into the 143 lap time. iRacing had received another update, in which got me thinking maybe that had something to do with me struggling at that point, but that being said, all of these days felt like I didn't really lose the feeling of the car overall. I was just not able to lower my lap time. And throughout all these days, I have to say that I was not feeling real well with how things were going. I was just driving non-stop without any progress at all, and I felt completely stuck at where I am. And all I could do was play around with the brake bias to see if anything would change, but nothing really substantial happened from it, and I was just completely burnt out after a while and really frustrated as the days went by with no progress at all. Because I was feeling burnt out, I have to say that I was not really practicing a lot. I was taking bigger breaks and just doing the bare minimum to keep myself consistent. All this time, what I was thinking was to not overpush myself, so whenever I felt like I had given enough and was not feeling like I wanted to push even more at the end of the day, I stopped my training session for the day and continued the next day. All while this was happening, I was also playing around tweaking the brake bias, because even with the slight brake bias changes, those were enough for me to tweak a few things in my driving. That kept me a bit excited to see what would happen. Of course, at the end of the day, I still felt disappointed because there was no progress. The only progress that was happening was as I was lowering my brake bias again. So as I was starting to go back down to the 48 brake bias, 47 brake bias, I felt better driving the car. So that was the only hint that I got throughout these days, that having the brake bias more towards the front was not the way to go. So on day 20, things felt much better and I was more consistent again. I lowered my brake bias to the 46.6, but I have to say that I still hadn't been able to lower my lap time at all, but I was feeling the car better and I could feel the potential of the extra rotation because of it. Again, on day 20, just because there was not a lot of progress, I still felt stuck, but at the same time, there was a bit of hope, so that helped me get through the day. But the final thing that happened that was a really big thing for me is I realized that I was not being really strategic with how I was using my tires. Like I mentioned in a past video, not overheating your tires is crucial if you want to lower your lap times. And I realized that sometimes, even if I wasn't so much overheating my tires, I was definitely adding extra pressure in corners that didn't really need for me to maximize the tire grip. So I am feeling pretty confident that as soon as I step on the simulator again, I will be able to lower this lap time by at least 0.3. We'll see if that sticks true when I upload my next video, but for now, I'm just really excited to see how things are gonna go moving forward. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.